CM 365, all about Carnatic music.
Today we are going to discuss about a beautiful ancient raga, Anandabhairavi. Now, Anandabhairavi has got a very long tradition in terms of its origin, and as a melodic scale, it has been prevalent in the folk music from time immemorial. And we see that the folk musicians actually can sing it very beautifully with a rustic touch. So as a melody, it has been prevalent for many years, and then later on, it has been absorbed into Carnatic music, I would say, and become raga, taken the form of a raga. So if you talk in terms of the folk music, you cannot actually call it a ragam. That's what I want to mean here. But when it has come to become a part of the Carnatic music, it takes the proper structure of a arohana, avarohana and become a raga in a full-fledged form. And of course, the main Vagyakaras have composed so many beautiful compositions, thus giving it a wider scope and reach. And in the domain of Manodharma also, this has been explored well by many musicians. Let us look at the Arohana, Avarona of this particular ragam, which goes like, as I said, it is a janya of Kararapriya for a practical purpose. So for us to understand the notes, Sa ga ri ga ma pada pa sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So it is a Vakra Arohana, and the Avarona is Sampurna and comes straight. And before going more deeper into the notes, I would also like to make a mention about how this particular ragam has found a place in various domains. For example, we see that they profusely sung in Harikathas, in drama, in the Yakshagana, in the rituals and marriages. For example, the composition like கண்ணூஞ்செல்லாடி இருந்தாள் காஞ்சன மாலை மனமகிழ்ந்தாள். We see that as sung in a typical traditional marriage, or in the temple rituals, or in the bhajanas. We see composition of Bhadrachala Ramdas like Ramabhadra Rara Shri Ramachandra Rara Tamarasa Lochana Sita Sameta Rara Ramabhadra Rara. Or also in Bhagavata Melas, in dance dramas and so on. So in a wide range of area, we see that Anandabhairavi as a ragam is used. Now coming to the ragam as such, from what we have over the years now, we see that though this is the scale, there are three notes which come in or appear here as the Bhashanga, that is the Gandhara, the Daivata and the Nishada. So where the Antara Gandhara comes in certain places, the Shuddha Daivata, which is not a part of the scale, coming in at certain places, and also the Kakali Nishada, which is again not a part of the scale of Karalpriya, coming in into the ragam in very specific phrases and giving it that aesthetic beauty. Now what are the phrases? For example, if you take the Swara Gandhara, Sa ga ri ga ma, that ga is the Swakiya Swara. Now the Antara Gandhara comes like pa ma ga ga ma. In very rare phrases you see that occurrence of that Antara Gandhara. Or the Nishada is sa ni, of course there is no Nishada in the Arohana while coming, sa ni da pa. The Kaisiki Nishadam is the original Swakiya Swara. In some phrases like sa ni sa, very sparingly you see the occurring of this Nishada as a Bhashanga note. Also the Daivata, we see that the Chatushriti Daivata coming in like pada pa sa or sa ni da pa. But in a phrase like ga ma pa dha ga, where the Shuddha Daivata occurs sparingly. So thus we see that though these three notes as Bhashanga do not form a part of the Arona, in appropriate places to lend specific or special aesthetic beauty to the ragam, these are added. And of course, we also understand that probably because of the fact that this has got a folk origin. In folk music, obviously, we don't have any trained singers who are, kind of classically trained people singing. So for them, they would probably not even be aware of the fact that they are adding this extra notes. And that's how you see that a special color is even given to that particular melody through the addition of such extra phrases. And in some compositions also we see that Vagekaras have made use of this concept of introducing the Bhashanga note at appropriate places. Now, if you look at the composition itself, though we say that it is of this kind and has movements in the Tristhayis, we see that generally this ragam does not operate below the Mandara Nishada, and the compositions are a testimony to this. For example, if you take the composition of Shama Sastri, Himachala Tanaya Bru, where in the Charanam, the maximum in the lower octave, Abhimana Vipudu Sanisa, is a maximum that is touched in the Mandara Sthai. Or if you take the Kamalamba Navavarna, Kamalambhagasam Rakshatu Maya, where Sani Sa again, or in the Charanam here, Ani Madi Sani Sa. A more explicit explanation of this we can see in the composition Nimadi Sallaga of Kavi Matru Bhutaya, where there is a beautiful Chittaswaram giving us a clearer indication that the maximum note which could be touched in the Mandrastha is the Nishada, like Pada Pasa Sa Pasa Nida Pa Bagari Sa Ni Sa Magari Gama Pada Ma Pagari Gama. After that it goes in the higher range, but Pada Pasa Sa Pasa Nida Pa Bagari Sa Ni Sa. This much only it goes in the Madrasthai. So this is a clear indication of the uniqueness of the fact that though it is a Tristhai ragam, this is the way it is structured. And as for the Dhaivata here, Pada Pa Sani Da Pa, either in the, but we see that this Dhaivata is neither a Graha nor a Nyasaswara, but the other notes can be either of this. And lastly, to some of the compositions, how the starting notes of compositions we look. Marive Ma, starting on Ma, or O Jagadamba, starting on Pa, or Himachala, starting on Sa, or Nimadi Sallaga, starting on Pa, Manasa, again starting on Pa. Or for example, if you take the composition of Papanasam Sivan, again on starting on Pa, Sringara Vela Vanvandan Yendaniyala. So this was just a small introduction, I would say, to the beautiful ragam Anandabhairavi, which is a classic example of a melody which was prevalent actually in the folk music, but came to be absorbed into Carnatic music as a full-fledged raga.
CM 365, all about Carnatic music.